Hey guys, AJ here, back with another one. So today we're going to talk about some pop culture, and we're going to go back to Marvel, guys. Like I said, I've always been a big comic book fan, an MCU fan, and guys, the MCU just trash. All of Phase 4, garbage, all of it, except Spider-Man No Way Home. But that was a Sony-made film that Marvel and Disney had a part in, but Sony made the film, so they didn't even make that much cash. But Doctor Strange, trash. Thor: Love and Thunder, trash. Black Widow, trash. Eternals, trash. There's all trash. Shang-Chi was okay, but I don't know. Anyways, so the new Antman is out, and it flopped, right? And for those of you guys who don't know, right, Antman cost about $250 million to make, and they spent right around that marketing the film, right? So that's how it usually works: is they spend like just below the actual cost of the film to market the film all around the world. Plus, this movie had a Super Bowl spot too. We all know how much money that time costs, right? So we're gonna jump in this article, guys, but before we do, please remember to like, subscribe, drop a comment. It really helps to keep this channel going. So guys, here we go. Box office analyst OMB Reviews recently declared that Ant-Man Quantumania is pretty much a guaranteed flop. And they talk about the numbers, blah, 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 but let's just get into this part here. The original Ant-Man and the second one are actually making more and made more money, and they cost less, right? So he says, not only does the film look like it will pace behind both of its predecessors, but OMB Reviews believes that the film will lose money on its own. He says, the fact is that this film most likely won't even break 500 million. And if it does, it will barely, which means that this film is looking to pretty much be a guaranteed flop at this time, whether using the $500 million mark as a metric for it to break even, or $600 million mark. They might be saying, guys, where did this $500 million come from, right? They have to make $500-600 million because remember, they share the revenue with the theaters. So if this movie costs $500 million to make market, right? They have to make that $500 or $600 million because they're only getting half of the money. So it's not like if they made $500 million, they're not gonna get all that cash. Okay? So he says, I think no matter where you are on that, you will agree that it's not looking good for Ant-Man. This film is going to flop. He adds, and when you're spending an extra $70 million on a film and all that you're getting out of it is losing money, and you're making the least amount in the entire franchise, does not bode well, not just for Ant-Man, but for the whole MCU. And then he also says that the fact that this movie was supposed to set up Kang, and then they pushed back the Brie Larson film, really shows that the MCU is in trouble. So guys, Marvel's in a lot of trouble. And you'd think that they would just be printing money, right? I mean, you have 70 years of Iron Man and Captain America, all this other stuff. Cliff notes. Why are you not winning here, right? And this is an article that came out today, guys, that really shows that Disney is in panic mode. Okay? This isn't just me saying this. Marvel is in trouble. So Victoria Alonso, this is her, is reportedly out at Marvel Studios after Disney CEO Bob Iger calls into question quality issues at Marvel, and how Ant-Man failed at the box office. So guys, she is out. And for those of you who don't know who this is, she used to be like the head of graphic design or CGI at Marvel Studios. And then she moved up to be a high, Marvel Studios vice president. Okay? She is the wokest of the woke. Okay? She is the one who, when they got X-Men back, because remember, Sony owned X-Men. No, excuse me, Fox owned X-Men. That's why all the X-Men films were all made by Fox. They finally got the license back for X-Men, and she was like, oh no, X-Men is not inclusive enough, so we're going to say the mutants or whatever, because we're going to be more inclusive. This person's an alphabet person, right? And she was championing this whole diverse, alphabet, strong women type of stuff. This is her. They got rid of her, guys. That's how you know they're in panic mode. So let's just get into this. A new report claims that Marvel Studio Vice President Victoria Alonso is no longer part of the company less than a month after Disney CEO Bob Iger called into question the quality of recent Marvel Studios film and TV series. And the most recent film, Antman, collapsed at the box office. Alonso exited the company on Friday, but the reasons for the exit aren't clear. Well, they are to me. She joined Marvel Studios in 2006 as chief of visual effects and post-production. It was co-producer on Iron Man. She would go on to co-produce Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, and the Avengers. Alonso's exit comes as Marvel Studios' most recent release, Ant-Man and the Wasp, collapsed at the box office. So the film has so far grossed only $205 million domestically and $256 million internationally for a global gross of $462 million. And this was March 20th. So this was yesterday, guys. This past weekend, so the film grossed a little over $4 million domestically. It also played in 455 less theaters. Given that its current trajectory, it's unlikely that the film will top the unadjusted totals for Ant-Man and the Wasp. Not only does Alonso's exit come amid one of the worst performing MCU films to date, but it also comes amid the Walt Disney Company CEO Bob Iger calling into question the quality of Marvel films, as he should, because they've just been trash, out and out garbage. He's saying Bob Iger says, what we have to look at Marvel is not necessarily the volume of Marvel storytelling, but how many times we go back to the well on certain characters. So you see, guys, the Winter Soldier, trash. She-Hulk, trash. Hawkeye, trash. She-Hulk, garbage. I mean, they just had all this stuff, and it was so bad. So, he says, sequels typically work well for us, but do you need a third or fourth? Or is it time to turn to other characters? If you look at the trajectory of Marvel of the next 5 years, you will see a lot of newness. And now we're going to turn back to the Avengers franchise with a whole set of different Avengers guys. How well do you think that's going to go, right? And guys, to talk about Star Wars, I don't even want to talk about Star Wars, because Star Wars is basically dead at this point. So guys, let me know what you think about the fact that Ant-Man bombed and then they got rid of this person who is literally been saying that X-Men's not inclusive enough and that she's championing this diversity stuff. So, all right, you guys, quick one today. This is AJ. I appreciate you guys. I'm out of here.